California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse.
Greg Gutfeld just torched Gavin Newsom's political facade with a flamethrower, leaving nothing but smoldering ashes and slick back hair. This takedown rattled every liberal echo chamber, shredding Newsom's hypocrisy, mocking his policies, and leaving the California governor frozen like a deer in the headlights of a primetime monologue. This wasn't a roast, it was a full-on demolition, and Newsom never saw it coming. Buckle up, this is Gutfeld Unleashed.
So Newsom is fed up with tent cities, the crime, the urban decay? No, he's not mad about that stuff. He's mad you noticed. It's like a criminal telling a jury he's sorry he robbed 25 banks when he's just sorry he got caught on the 26th. Because this isn't some spontaneous crisis. It's a man-made disaster like Chernobyl or Fox and Friends. And
it kicked off like any other night on the Gutfeld. Stage, lights blazing, coffee mug in hand. That signature smirk cocked like a loaded gun. But this wasn't just sarcastic banter or light jabs. Greg Gutfeld came armed for war, and the target? California's crown prince of coif politics, Gavin Newsom. The guy with hair so perfect it could run for office solo, treating every press conference like a Vogue sh*OT.
Took common sense as his high ground.
Right.
There's no place outside of it.
That's right.
And so they're stuck in this horrible, horrible place, much like you, Jamie, in your life. As California falls apart, it must remind you somewhat of your own personal life.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at footage of California and I go, oh, look how much better it is than my life.
If you're digging this breakdown, hit subscribe. Newsom's the walking billboard of progressive perfection, except for the avalanche of disasters trailing him like unpaid parking tickets. Gutfeld didn't just call it out, he unleashed. With the fury of a late-night comic fed up with glittery illusions, he ripped Newsom's pristine image apart like a worn Hollywood script, dramatic, overhyped, begging for a rewrite. Newsom's coasted on his golden boy left reputation for years.
Why do I keep bringing up Gavin? Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it. When people actually came,
he flashes a toothpaste commercial smile, tosses buzzwords like a TED Talk pro, and struts like California's his utopian masterpiece. But between press briefings and fancy dinners, reality outside the governor's mansion unraveled. Gutfeld wasn't letting that slide. That night, you could feel it. The air crackled as he skipped the intro, skipped the warning, and fired a barrage of truths sharp enough to cut through Newsom's bulletproof ego.
You conflate order with authoritarianism, you get chaos and destruction. So if restoring order is evil, then the Dems are now the party of disorder. Turns out the only system they had was wokeism, and it rotted any basic principles the party had to begin with. Which is why, like Gavin himself, they're left looking at 2028's hopes going up in flames. And this time, no one is going to help them put it out.
Gutfeld peeled back the polished veneer, exposing the rot beneath. California, Newsom's progressive beacon, now has streets doubling as open-air slums. Tent cities sprawl for blocks. Taxes soared, so high Elon Musk practically flew to Texas. And crime? No dramatic flair needed. Smash and grabs turned stores into glass museums, carjackings as common as Uber rides. Amid the chaos, Newsom kept lecturing.
Problem is his track record, his performance as mayor, as lieutenant governor, and governor. And your analogies are great. I think mine are better. And just hold on. And here's why. He shows up at the fires and says, who the hell caused this? I'm going to crack down on the people responsible. He sees the homeless encampments blocking the sidewalks and said, You guys clean that up. He started it. He spent $3 billion to fix it. And his opening words in 2020 when it got the job is a disgrace. The richest state in the country and the richest nation of the world has a homeless problem. I will fix it. He spends $1 billion. When it's not fixed, he blames the mayors. And he also forced the movie industry and Silicon Valley out of the best state in the country by high taxes. I've never seen someone such a bad performance. But yet I think he's the front runner to get the nomination for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They got nobody else. Sherrod, welcome back.
He found time to scold other states on morality, freedom, and governance. That's when Gutfeld cranked the heat. It wasn't just hypocrisy, it was performance art, with Newsom as the overpaid actor botching his lines. Gutfeld painted it. A governor slamming Florida's book bans while the state's kids struggle to read. Wagging fingers at Texas abortion laws over streets choked with filth and forgotten people. The laughter bubbled as Gutfeld drove it home with surgical sarcasm, deeper than rage.
So last week, Newsom said he hopes the conservative Supreme Court will overturn the current law that bans his state from removing out-of-control homeless encampments. Imagine that. Well, what did you expect, Gavin? That the sanctuary seekers were going to show up in Winnebagos? Once again, another example of a high-profile lib using his big mouth to write a check his ass can't cash. Last year, after the Texas Governor Abbott ordered that parents of transitioning children should face criminal investigation, Newsom then tweeted this: "Trans kids and their families should be celebrated, not targeted by the state. They are heroes." And so to fearful families in Texas right now, California's door is always open to you.
With a grin, Gutfeld sketched the scene. California's middle class vanishing faster than hand sanitizer in a heat wave. Small businesses shuttering, while Hollywood and Silicon Valley elites toast in gated enclaves. There's Newsom, smiling through it, hair flawless, as if the suffering's just backdrop for his next ad. But Gutfeld had a point, brutal and clear. Newsom's not just flawed. Families flee for survival. Businesses bolt from tax hell, and residents ask, how did we get here?
What do you think about Gavin Newsom? What's going on there?
I don't know. I don't know how they bump out Kamala. You know, put a white male in there and take her out. She's got too much of an ego to just step aside. She's going to go crazy if they try to do that.
Plus, she had a strong 2% support, so don't forget that.
Yeah, but she's waiting for that spot to just open for her, and then you put a white male in there. Yeah. There's no. I don't know how they're going to put. I mean, they did it to Bernie. They threw him under the bus two, presidential ones in a row. They just gave him a couple extra houses in Vermont. Go, yeah, you got some extra money. But I don't know how they could do it with her.
It'd be great if they threw her under the bus because she really likes buses. Remember?
Gutfeld, never missing a beat, zeroed in on the man in charge. It was a reverse magic trick, stripping away Newsom's illusions. Economic growth, smoke and mirrors. Climate leadership, empty gestures in solar panels and press releases. Compassion, only camera deep. Then the knockout. Newsom's California as a stunning mansion, gleaming windows, manicured lawns. But inside moldy walls, cracked foundations, a roof leaking despair. A house of slogans, catchy phrases propping up policy flops, aesthetics over action. The audience erupted, gasps to laughter, not for theatrics, but because Gutfeld voiced the unspoken truth. California wasn't a beacon, it was a warning.
Californians used to sell maps of celebrity homes, not landmines. Now instead of sightseeing, tourists play hopscotch so their shoes don't get hepatitis. And when residents complain, they're called cruel. And now we're supposed to believe Gavin? Hell no. All the problems of the last decade were based on his and his party's lies.
The crowd laughed with recognition, not at a joke. Truth needed no embellishment, just Gutfeld's flawless delivery. Somewhere Newsom, maybe in a posh suite or behind a velvet podium, smiled. Sure no TV host could touch him. Wrong. Gutfeld cracked the armor and danced in the wreckage. This wasn't a debate, it was a warning. Newsom's presidential whispers and plans, Gutfeld argued, were the real threat. Hypocrisy and incompetence daring to spread. If California's the test lab, Newsom's the mad scientist, and America's the next experiment.
Then came the national polling by overwhelming majorities. It turns out Americans don't favor minors transitioning. So last week, when a California law was proposed that judges in custody cases favor the parent who supports transitioning a child's new gender, Newsom killed that law quicker than a late-term abortion. Yeah, I know, huh? Now the left, being the left, was outraged, but they missed something, because now Newsom says he only vetoed it since it's already the law.
Gutfeld wasn't having it. He ended with a deadpan mic drop, half smile, mug sip, a camera glance saying, "We see you, Gavin, and no hair gel fixes this." The magic wasn't the jokes or jabs. It was the precision, the truth, the surgical sarcasm dismantling Newsom's myth with undeniable facts. No theatrics, no raised voice, just stiletto twist delivery that devastated. He walked viewers through San Francisco's wasteland. Tech billionaires stepping over ways to dine. Businesses closing not for markets, but chaos and indifference. The picture? Painfully clear. Newsom's California isn't a model. It's a warning label.
Gavin ponders why Dems lost.
We lost. We lost the popular vote, and we lost the electoral vote. We got crushed, and we need to be humble about that, and we need to have some grace, and we need to understand why. Was it because of the incumbency penalty? Was it because of inflation? Was it because of interest rates? Was it because of immigration? Was it because we were too, quote unquote, woke? Was it because of issues with Israel? Was it all of the above? I think we are going through that forensic. We need to understand it. At the same time, we also have to push back against the whitewaters and headwinds of the Trump administration.
Gutfeld zeroed in on hypocrisy with laser focus. Newsom demanded masks and lockdowns, shut churches and small businesses, yet dined maskless at the French Laundry with elites, as if rules were for peasants. Gutfeld leaned into the absurdity, letting the audience laugh through the injustice. Punchlines stung with known truths rarely spoken. Then the exodus. Families and businesses fleeing a regime prizing ideology over livability. The genius? Gutfeld stripped Newsom's mask without breaking a sweat.
Voters. He's the classic wolf in sheep's hair gel. Just watch him answer the tough questions.
Any other questions here?
California has a terrible homeless problem. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. And I think it's a matter of perspective. Let's kind of flip the script on that, okay? Let's kind of put a new lens on that. I mean, you see a homeless man, I see an outdoorsman. We got a lot of natural habitat in this state, and I'm just so proud that so many people in California can take advantage of that. All right, next question.
He depicted a man preening for cameras, lecturing states, building a national profile on scripted outrage and designer indignation. Behind the glamour, Gutfeld showed a political mannequin, slick lines, no spine. He mocked Newsom's White House whispers, the absurdity of a hemorrhaging state pitching chaos nationally. Comedy gold delivered with clarity, not cruelty. Every barb, smirk, and pause hammered home. This wasn't leadership, just branding. The brand collapsed under its lies. Gutfeld destroyed Newsom not with cheap shots or rage, but with reality, humor, irony, and confidence that truth needs no shout, just to be heard. In a spin-filled world, that honesty hit like a freight train. Gutfeld didn't just win, he obliterated. Somewhere in California, Newsom's still reeling, hit by reality, delivered by Gutfeld.